Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. One of my subscribers, Johnny Cruikshank, who I know quite well because we worked together for a while, he was really the latest in a long line of people who asked me about the whole concept of atmosphere at these Saudi events. Now, Johnny said to me, why don't you sort of do a video on it? Which is why I'm doing a video on it. But let me make one thing clear. Look, I probably have a very different take on this to a lot of people, because although I've been going to live boxing events for 40 whatever years it is, I've never liked the big events, ever. I'd always much rather stay at home and watch them. I like small hall events. I like watching the up-and-comers. I like seeing the stars of tomorrow, like I saw Nigel Benn when he was up and coming, and occasionally I'd go. In the old days, I'd go to I went to a British title fight once with Tony Sibson, and Mike McCallum came to Britain and fought here once. I went to that. That was in Hammersmith. But when it comes to stadiums and arenas and anything over 10,000 people, I'm not really that interested. I'd rather sit and watch it on telly. Now, perhaps some people, a lot of people do that anyway. Quite simply, I can't afford to sit ringside. I can't pay £2,000 or 1,500 quid or whatever it is just to sit ringside to watch a fight. But I can pay, 100 quid at the York Hall or whatever and sit ringside and watch these future stars. Like I've seen, Conor Benn, and I saw Coley and, Sonny Edwards. I've seen all these fighters, but sort of close to the start of their careers, not when they were world champs, when they were up and coming. And I think that's actually more interesting, because you can see how they develop, and then you watch them on telly in the big events and you think, okay, yeah, he or she has done this, that or the other. And I like the atmosphere far better in small places anyway. Big events, stadium fights, arena fights are really events. You go with all your mates, you have a few drinks, and most of you are up in the gods, so you're really just watching on a giant telly, a giant screen. It ain't my thing, right? So that brings us to the subject of these Saudi events. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go to any of them, but watching them on TV, do they lack atmosphere? Well, I can't say I've really noticed it, and I can't say I've really cared about it. Don't forget, it's only a few years ago, everything was taking place behind closed doors with absolutely no crowd whatsoever. No. To me, it doesn't bother me. I know it does bother some people. I keep hearing people saying, well, no one's singing Sweet Caroline and people aren't chanting. And well, I'm glad about that. I don't like all that crap. I don't mind. The crowd cheering's fine. But if I hear Sweet Caroline one more time, I'm going to take out a hit on Neil Diamond. He's still alive, isn't he? Yeah, he won't be much longer if I hear that bloody song again. So I don't really care about all that stuff, all that pomp and circumstance. To me, that's kettle on time. Sod off to the kitchen and make yourself a cup of tea. But some people do like it. I accept that. And I think in Saudi, there's a sort of learning curve going on. Because if you look at the Tyson Fury and Ngannou fight, there was too much. There were too many periods, especially between the chief support and the Ngannou Fury fight, where there's nothing happening. I think there's some sort of pop concert going on, for like an hour or so, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever it was. And the whole thing was a bit, there were too many sort of down periods. So I don't think that was true with the Day of Reckoning. I think they kind of caught themselves on and sussed out that no, people don't like these long sort of intermissions. They want to see consistency. They want to see, okay, we've got one fight done, let's move on to the next one. And I think they're learning. And I would imagine that probably the atmosphere will improve, and that it's a different culture, isn't it? I think once, if they're serious about continuing with boxing and developing their own fighters, and not just bringing big names, if Turki Al Sheikh, if he wants to actually build something that is, with the indigenous populace and bring fighters through. There was a kid whose name escapes me who fought Jeff Afori last week. I think he's a Saudi kid. But I think gradually it will develop to the point where there is more of an atmosphere, and the people there understand boxing better, and they got their own heroes. It's not just like they're watching foreigners fighting. If they're serious about boxing, they're going to do that. I think inevitably, it won't all be Riyadh season. There'll be lower, smaller cards, smaller venues, and gradually the whole thing will become tiered like it is over here in America or wherever. At the moment, it's almost like we're still in that gimmick phase. Do you know what I mean? Where everything is all a bit, there's money flying around everywhere, and suddenly all these dream fights are being made, and we're sort of watching them and loving it, but we're kind of bewildered by the whole thing. You know what I mean? I think gradually it will develop into a more structured, a more grassroots thing in Saudi Arabia if they continue. If the excellent Turkey keeps bunging his money into the game at a lower level and isn't just interested in playing fantasy boxing with his billions, then it will develop. But does the lack of atmosphere when I watch it on TV bother me? No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. And if it does you, it's a shame, innit? But I like boxing. I'll watch. I don't care. Male, female, little guy, minimum weights, heavyweights. I don't care. I just like boxing. And sometimes I'll watch it with the commentary off. If there's commentary on that I don't like, I'll turn the commentary off. I think, I'm not listening to him. He's talking a lot of crap. So it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I don't need to hear all that pomp and circumstance. I like boxing, but people are different. If you like all that stuff, that's no problem. I'm not knocking you. So what do you think? Comments below as always. Let me have a read, and please leave your comments. Also subscribe if you do. Hit that subscription button and bang the old like button as well. I really do appreciate your time watching these videos, and I'm looking forward to reading what you got to say. I'll answer as many comments as I can. All right, thanks a lot then. Catch you later, and bye for now.